Welcome to today's A2K webinar. My name's Ian Cross. I'm the Technical Consulting Lead for Manufacturing and Data Management here at A2K Technologies. And today we're going to be looking through what's new in the latest release of Autodesk Inventor 2021. So this year's release is packed with mainly user-requested updates and enhancements that are there to help speed up your design workflows, reduce your repetitive tasks, and essentially work the way you want. The latest release of Inventor is focusing on design and innovation. So you'll find modeling improvements for the tools that you use the most, along with the customer requested enhancements that will speed up your workflows for assemblies, parts, and design creation. And they've brought in the ability to create BIM-ready designs and maintain the associative links between Revit and Inventor with the new Any CAD functionality, and work the way you want with the new contextual property panels and the dark themed appearance, which is one of my favorite ones in this year's release, is the dark theme. So let's have a look what Inventor is delivering. So we have our customer-driven improvements, which have been requested by you and the Inventor user community. These are ideas that are put through on the Inventor Idea Station. If you don't know where that is, I can provide a link later on. It's where you put forward your ideas for future releases of Autodesk Inventor, and it goes through to the Autodesk developers, and then they get a chance to have a look at it. The community votes upon your idea, and if it gathers enough interest and traction, then it can be implemented into a later release of Inventor. So they've improved the delivery of what they're calling professional grade functionality with more grunt inside of Inventor to deal with increasingly larger and more complex designs. And they've also, as I mentioned before, they've extended the AnyCAD functionality for Revit to help manufacturers in the construction industry collaborate and coordinate on their BIM projects. Sheet formats and iLogic have been made easier than ever to automate the creation of your drawings to your particular CAD standards in Inventor 2021. Now, I've divided up the presentation today into 8 different categories for what's new in Inventor. So we have our Inventor Experience, which is sort of the overall interface. It's decluttering your workspace with the new options in the property panel and the dark theme. We've got our AnyCAD for Revit with maintaining our associative links to Revit with seamless interoperability. They've improved the performance enhancements in parts and assemblies. With part modeling, they've brought in enhancements for sheet metal, multi-body parts, and 3D annotations. In assembly models, they've updated the tube and pipe, the assembly structure, and file naming. We've got new commands inside the drawing creation. And the frame generator has been giving a little bit of an improvement with new user interface, editing tools, and document control for structural members, and the updates to the drawing automation side of things with the drawing creation with iLogic. So let's have a quick brief overview about what's happening this year. So Autodesk Inventor 2021 is continuing to bring you updates and enhancements to your everyday user experience. In Inventor 2021, the new dark theme has been added to provide an alternate experience for customers who prefer to work in a low light environment. When you test the Inventor's new dark theme, you'll be advised that the dark theme is currently in tech preview. The dark theme hasn't quite yet been rolled out to all of Inventor's environments, and Autodesk would like to get your feedback as they continue to implement this new look. In 2021, they continue to bring more commands into the object property panel, including split, thicken, decal, coil, combine, copy object, and blend part. The property panel interface adds new functionality to existing commands, including the ability to use presets, rename features with the commands running, and automatically generate sketches. These new and existing property panel tools streamline your everyday workflow and they declutter your workspace. So I would recommend trying out the new dark theme in Inventor and the new property panel user interface enhancements in 2021 and see how Autodesk are continuing to improve your experience when working with Autodesk Inventor. Okay, let's have a look at the Inventor experience. So decluttering your workspace. So in 2021, continues to move more commands over to a property panel. And you'll see much of that over the course of this presentation. Once again, the property panel does a great job of decluttering the interface. They contain presets and they can speed up your workflow. And as I mentioned before, one of the biggest things that I heard last year was the need for a dark theme. Some users don't like the bright lights. The dark theme is a lot easier on the eyes. Personally, I think it looks a lot cooler. But actually, this is in tech preview because there's still a lot of things that need to be worked on or tweaked, and it will be in preview for the remainder of the year. But if you have a hard time seeing something, then let us know or let Autodesk know, and we can pass it on, and they can address that for you. Now, A2K know that custom fabricators like you want to provide more value to your customers. By getting involved with BIM, or Building Information Modeling, Inventor is committed to serving companies that are involved in the construction industry by providing seamless integration with Revit data. You can maintain associative links with Revit and Inventor with the new AnyCAD interoperability. Autodesk, over this past release, they've improved that interoperability between Revit and Inventor by maintaining an associative link which is inserted into the Revit data as you work. That Revit project can be accessed from a local file or coordinated via the cloud using Autodesk BIM 360's CDE, or Common Data Environment. Changes during the design process are inevitable, as we all know. Now, when the Revit model changes, we'll need to update the Inventor model to match. Now, because the Revit model is referenced into your Inventor assembly, without file translation, any changes to the Revit project will automatically be updated inside the Inventor assembly. Let's take a little look at that. In the construction industry, custom fabricators like you want to provide additional value to your company and to your customers, as I mentioned before. Now, by getting involved in Building Information Modeling, or BIM, Inventor 2021, Autodesk have improved the interoperability between Revit and Inventor by maintaining that associative link that is inserted into the Revit data as you work. The Revit project can be accessed from that local file or coordinated through BIM 360's Common Data Environment. On referencing the Revit file, custom views from the Revit project can be selected in Inventor, allowing you to filter the BIM to just the information you need. In the Inventor browser, the Revit model is organized by category, allowing you to further examine the structure of the model and filter the BIM to your requirements. Once placed in your Inventor assembly, the Revit project can be used as a reference model to help guide your design. Working with the native Revit project helps you locate your design using shared coordinates, size your design appropriately, and coordinate your design against the integrated BIM. Changes during the design process are inevitable, as I mentioned, we all know that. When the Revit model changes, we need to update the Inventor model to suit. Because that Revit model is referenced into your Inventor assembly without file translation, any changes to the Revit project will also update inside the Inventor assembly. To change a design in Inventor is a change everywhere in your design has been referenced, automatically updating all downstream uses of your design model, helping you to coordinate your work to keep up with the change. When your design is ready, you can output your model from Inventor as a BIM object, ready to submit, closing the loop on your design cycle. Now, Inventor 2021 has extended that AnyCAD functionality to help manufacturers in the construction industry collaborate and coordinate on your BIM projects. So let's have a look at some of the performance improvements. So I'm just going to sort of bullet point these to start with, and we'll go through them a bit more individually. So they've reduced the graphic updates during your option changes in the application options. In the assembly environment, they've updated express mode, design views. They've improved performance when opening an assembly. Your model browser is faster for non-visible components. When placing a component for previews and components with custom design views, patterns that have been improved, feature patterns, component patterns, the rebuild all has been updated and improved for performance. The constraint and joint preview display, the frame generator, part component visibility changes, edge and face selection when creating constraints, positional representations when flexible subassemblies, and also tube and pipe when you're hovering over your components. It's a bit more crisp and clearer. For the part environment, edge and face selection has been improved. Your feature patterns have been improved. Spreadsheet performance have had some enhancements, so there's no need for Microsoft Excel anymore. Excel is not required for spreadsheet operations that read or export data. As a result, iParts and iAssemblies, the spreadsheet-driven operations are 2 and up to 20 times faster. Now that's a huge performance enhancement on that. So, some of the items that have had the most impact is the faster open, update, and compute. The smoother assembly workflows and the graphics navigation has been sped up. For assembly design, performance has been improved when inserting subassemblies from the time of insertion to the time that you have control over that subassembly position, eliminating the wait time before you start placing your components. Inventor is now faster to respond to selecting many components at one time using a new window selection or component filtering. You'll experience quicker visibility changes when flipping the visibility of components directly or using saved views. The responsiveness of component-related features in the assembly environment has been improved, and adaptive components are quicker to respond to changes in assembly relationships, and component patterns based on a feature pattern within a part file are also faster to respond. Okay. So let's take a look at those performance enhancements. Making a product perform better from one release to the next is the standard for any product development, really. And with Inventor 2021, it's no different. Autodesk have continued to invest in improving Inventor's performance to help you get the most out of the hardware you've invested in and work more productively with your increasingly larger and more complex designs. So let's take a little look at how large assembly performance has improved in Inventor 2021. For assembly design, performance has been improved when inserting subassemblies from the time of insertion for that time when you have control over your subassembly's position, eliminating the wait time before you start to place your components. 2021 is now faster to respond when selecting many components at one time using the window selection or component filtering. And you'll experience quicker visibility changes when flipping that visibility of components directly or using saved views. Autodesk have also worked hard to improve the responsiveness and component-related features in the assembly environment. Adaptive components are now quicker to respond to changes in the assembly relationship, and component patterns based on feature patterns within the part file are faster to respond to change. You don't stop until you've delivered the best possible product, and neither do we. Autodesk are continuing to invest in performance improvements so that you can get the most out of your time in Inventor 2021. Okay, let's have a look at some of those part changes, the customer-driven part modeling. So in Inventor 2021, it has delivered part-level enhancements for sheet metal, multi-body parts, and 3D annotations. They have significantly reduced the number of mouse clicks by introducing the familiar window selection for selecting multiple body parts and faces in your parts. The unwrap command has been given additional options for constraining planar holes and alignment of the unwrapped surface. Sheet metal flange angles can now refer to existing edges and face the specified and faces for the specified angle, no more formulas or equations to maintain those associativity. And iProperties can now be referenced into 3D leader annotations and general notes. So I mentioned you can now window select multiple solids with a multi-solid part, an IPT file, by setting the appropriate selection filter. This sets the selection filter to bodies to window select or crossing window to select multiple bodies. You can set the selection filter to faces and edges to window select multiple faces and edges, or cross window select multiple faces and edges. And in the unwrap command, I mentioned you've got the multiple planar holes can be set to rigid. You can rename that unwrap feature, and you can align the results to the model or the XY, XZ, and YZ planes. With the custom properties in the text leader, you can add those custom properties into a leader text, a general note, and general profile note commands. The options display extended information after feature node in the browser, available from the applications options on the part tab. You've got show extended name. So this is now enhanced to support the following commands for mirror, all work planes, all work points, and all work axes. So that set flange angle by reference. New options have been added that let you specify the flange angle by value or by reference. Use the by reference option to select a planar face, planar surface, origin plane, or work plane to set that flange angle. All right, let's take a little look at the customer-driven improvements. So Autodesk Inventor 2021 is continuing to deliver improvements requested by you and the Inventor user community. Through the ideas and the beta program, you provide your feedback to help Inventor, and Autodesk have listened and put them into the new versions. So here are some of the customer improvements for 2021. So we have that window selection, which has been added, providing support for selecting multiple bodies or multiple faces, using the familiar left to right window to select all objects, or the right to left window to select all the objects that are inside or crossing the window. In the model browser, extended information now applies to work features. The unwrap command allows for flat patterning of components outside of the sheet metal environment. Improved in the 2021, the unwrap command now allows for multiple planar holes to be held rigid and has a new option for aligning the unwrapped surfaces. For sheet metal, a new option has been allowed for the flange command a new option has been added to the flange command to allow the flange angles, which we showed in the last slide. This is to help you create a full 3D model-based definition. Support has been added to the 3D annotations to allow the referencing of custom properties into leaders, notes, and the general annotations. And to complete the roundup trip of the product model information, support has been added for both exporting containing 3D annotations into the JT standard. And as always, Autodesk, thank you for your feedback and encouragement as they put more and more investment into making Inventor work better for you. So check them out in the new developments. Okay, let's have a look at the assembly model improvements. So in 2021, they've updated some of the tube and pipe assembly structure and the file naming conventions. So the file naming dialog box has been extended to the mirror and copy commands. There are improvements to the file naming for the frame gen and tube and pipe designs. The route command for tube and pipe now has a new property panel enabling you to rename the routes on the, without leaving the command. You can rename the routes without leaving the command. When you have more than one route to create, the apply button in the dialog box now keeps you in there for the next one. It's kind of like an apply and continue. And when saving files, you now get new options to help you set the default behavior for whether the file should be saved or not. And a new save state column in the save dialog box to help you understand what files Inventor is prompting you to save and why it's asking you to save it. So the application save tab enhancements, you can see in that image at the top there, using the new controls to set the behavior for Inventor to prompt when saving. The save state prompts replace the prompt to save the recomputable updates, the prompt to save for migration, and the do not list reference files that defaults to no in the options file. You can use the new save files in library folders checkbox to control the default condition for saving files in the Content Center library. But when deselected, files in the library paths do not display in the save dialog box and they are not saved. So just be aware of that. And the design accelerator, by default, the toggle disables the creation of subassembly structure and creates a single part within your root assembly. You can now toggle the enable creation of subassemblies in the design accelerator. Okay, file naming enhancements. So in the tube and pipe, the appearance of the dialog box has been more modernized. To improve navigation, the content is being rearranged to display as a browser structure. And content has been rearranged to accommodate additional functionality. The attribute section has also been replaced with what? And the route property panel, creating routes has been modernized with the new look and feel in the property panel. So it's just been updated and given a bit of a fresh look. So let's take a little look at what's going on in the file renaming function. Assembly design. So in the assembly environment in 2021, Autodesk have extended the file naming defaults dialog to include mirror and copy commands. Now, with your feedback, Autodesk have continued to make improvements for the file naming conventions for frame generator and tube and pipe design. For the tube and pipe, Autodesk have implemented the routing command as a new property panel, allowing you to create and apply your routes while keeping the command running, speeding up the development of your tube and pipe designs. Now, to help you structure your assembly environment, Autodesk have rolled out the functionality last seen in the shaft component generator to bolted connections. In this example, notice the new option to disable the subassembly structure. With this option active, no folder or subassembly will be created on disk. The individual components will be inserted directly into your assembly. This gives you more options for structuring your assembly and organizing your data to best suit your needs. You'll notice the difference immediately when you look at the assembly structure in the browser. If you need to edit that bolted connection, select the bolted connection node in the browser. When saving the files, Autodesk have added options to help set default behavior when files should be saved or not. And the new save state column in the save dialog box to help you understand what files Inventor is prompting you to save and why. And as always, as mentioned before, thank you for your continued feedback and encouragement. Without you guys putting the information into the beta program and into the idea station, these modifications and enhancements would never be able to be put into Inventor. Okay, some of the drawing creations. So the parallel diameter has been given a new dimension type. The parallel diameter with the, I suppose the diameter symbol, is created when you select the silhouette edge of a cylindrical feature, the shaft or hole. You can now align dimension you can now align a dimension to a selected edge. Use the new dimension type rotated to place a dimension and position on a perpendicular edge so that aligns to the selected edge. The measure command is now available in drawing files. This was also brought into 2020.3 Inventor, just in case you were wondering. The drawing view dialog box is enhanced to allow you to create shaded views of reference parts. The line style settings section is renamed to display style and updated to have two new options for creating shaded views of a reference part, such as edges as reference shaded and edges as part shaded. The two new shaded option parts are only available when a base, projected, or section view is placed in and it contains reference parts. 2 of the former line styles have been renamed, as reference parts is renamed to edges as reference, and parts is renamed to edges as parts. So again, a quick short video on showing these particular enhancements in the drawing creation. So in the drawing environment in 2021, components set to reference in the bill of materials now have a new visibility color. Actually, have a new visibility options in the drawings, with additional options to show reference files in color, with or without dashed lines as well. The ability to add automated centerline command in the, the ability to add the ability to add automated center lines to drawing views has been made easier with a new button for automated centerline command in the Revit. When you're dimensioning your views, Autodesk can improve the ability for Inventor to detect diameter dimensions inside your section views, and even when selecting parallel geometry. The new rotated option in the general dimension command allows you to rotate dimensions to any drawing geometry. Now, to help you complete your documentation, Autodesk have streamlined the workflow for copying and pasting general tables within your drawing sheets. And a very popular request, the measure tool has returned to the drawing environment, allowing you the ability to take additional measurements from Inventor drawings without creating additional annotations. Okay, frame gen. Now this is a big one. There's a lot of interest in the frame generator. So it's had several new enhancements in 2021. So improvements have been made to the file naming dialog, enabling you to have more detailed control of your naming schemes. Now, it's including the ability to set a file name of a component to be the same as the display name in the browser. When creating your frames, a new category filter enables you to narrow down your selection, and preset configurations now help you to save your most frequently used frame settings for future use. Geometry can now be filtered within the property panel, and a new preview glyph helps you orient your frame as you select your skeleton geometry. There is a new zoom tools to help you orientate your frame by adjusting your view to look directly at the frame section or to an isometric view of the frame member when you are placing. The frame member trim tool has been improved, enabling you to trim to a curved frame, and new end treatments have been added. So there's been 2 new profiles have been added, an I, T, and C profiles, as well as circular members. And the frame member reuse command has had a significant overhaul, making it easier to reuse your frame members to populate your skeleton geometry. So looking at the frame generator dialog boxes, the following commands have been moved from the the ribbon bar into property panels. So we've got our insert frame, our change, corner joint, trim, extend to face, reuse, change, reuse, and your frame member info. Now they've all been moved to these panels, which gives it a bit more of a streamlined workflow, more of a modern look. It just makes it easier for you to work with. Now the insert command now previews the member shape and displays an origin glyph when you highlight the sketch geometry. If you move your cursor along the placement sketch, you can change the location of the origin and profile before you click. There are new display controls in the property panel that set the zoom and view orientation. The apply appearance to part option has been added to the advanced settings menu for insert, change, reuse, and change, reuse, enabling the new option to make the frame parts the same color as the assembly. As you probably all know, previously the frame parts did not use the assembly appearance color. So then we have selecting a member normally required you to select the original when you were selecting a member to reuse. Now you don't have to do that. You can just select a reused member to select the source file. Trim and Extend now supports selecting a curved face. And the notch command includes additional profiles. As I mentioned before, we have a C section, an I section, a T section for cross sections. Okay, let's have a quick look at the video for the frame generator enhancements. Now, the frame generator workflows, Autodesk have continued to make improvements for the file naming dialog, allowing you to more detailed control the naming schemes for your frame generator components, including a new ability to set the file name of the component to be the same as the display name in the browser. Now, when creating your frames, a new category filter allows you to narrow down your selection, and preset configurations now help you to save your most frequently used frame settings for use again and again. Geometry can now be filtered from within the property panel. A new preview glyph helps you orientate your frame as you select your skeleton geometry. Now, once you've selected your geometry, the new zoom tool helps you orientate your frame by adjusting your view to look directly at the frame section or an isometric view of the frame member that you are placing, before zooming back to see the entire design. The frame member trim tool has been improved, allowing you to select a curved frame. And the end treatments, the two new profiles, as I mentioned before, extending the notch support to I, T, and C profile channels, as well as circular members. For the frame generator in 2021, the frame member reuse command has had a significant change, making it easier for you to reuse existing frame members to populate your skeleton geometry. Select a member that you would like to reuse, then window select all of the geometry that you'd like to analyze in Inventor. Now, Inventor will place reused members wherever they fit. Additional tools in the Change Reuse member help you orientate your reused components by zooming into the profile you are working on and then reorientating the frame generator panel or using the in-canvas controls. You can continue to modify your frame gen using those in-canvas controls. Now, your drawing automation, your sheet formats, and then we'll move on to some of the iLogic stuff. So when you create a new drawing sheet from an existing sheet in Inventor, the new sheet inherits the following settings based on the original sheet format. The settings of each placed view, for example, if one view has been placed with shaded and another placed with unshaded, each time you use that sheet format with the customized sheets, the views will be placed with the same settings. And also the new drawing sheet will contain the same sheet metal settings. But note, if there's a flat pattern defined, sheet formats and templates are updated to retain the sheet metal flat pattern view as they do the base view. When you choose a sheet format template with a flat pattern view saved, it is populated based on the sheet metal part that is in the source for the drawing. That's the parts list and its format settings, generic tables, and notes and text. Now, as I mentioned before, there's been some new iLogic functions. Now, iLogic is one of my most favorite things in Inventor. You can automate so many different things. So there've been some more snippets have been added into iLogic. So, I mean, when you've got to write your own code from scratch, it takes just a heap amount of time. So they've added in several new snippets to cover functions on creating drawings, such as actually brand new creating drawings, balloons, threads, leaders, center lines, dimensions. They've added the ability in there for supported annotations. So let's take a little look at all that going on. Now, for many of you, technical drawings are still a contract deliverable and are an important communication tool. So 2021 Inventor delivers new functionality to help speed up drawing creation with updates to the sheet formats and iLogic drawing automation. Sheet formats in Inventor are a great way to start new drawings, with drawing views of your design automatically generated from a pre-selected model. In 2021, Autodesk have made sheet formats easy to find by adding them into the dialog for drawing creation. View layouts saved as sheet formats now retain view settings such as edge display, and Autodesk have included a new fit to view option to automatically scale your views to fit on your sheet. Sheet formats now support flat pattern for part models and parts list for assemblies, all automatically populated from the model you referenced during your sheet creation. To further help you with the creation of drawings, Autodesk have improved the ability for iLogic to add dimensions, hole notes, and balloons from labeled features. Also adding support to change drawing styles using iLogic, making it easier to change styles to suit your customer, or even batch edit styles to aid CAD standard compliance. Sheet formats and iLogic really do make it easier than ever to automate the creation of your drawing to your CAD standards in Inventor 2021. Okay, so let's have a little bit of an overview of what we've covered. As mentioned, Autodesk Inventor is delivering the enhancements requested by you and the Inventor community through the beta program and through the Inventor Idea Station. They have increased the productivity, they've increased the performance for large assemblies and more complex designs, and they have improved the connected and automated workflows, extending that Any CAD functionality for Revit to help the manufacturers in the construction industry collaborate and coordinate on BIM projects, sheet formats, and iLogic to automate your drawing process. Okay, that is the presentation there. So I thank you all for coming along and watching this presentation. If you want, you can put some questions in the Q&A and I'll try and answer them as best I can. If not, I can go away and try and find the answer for you if you have any questions. There should be a Q&A option in your Zoom box to ask any questions. Okay. Well, there doesn't seem to be any questions coming through. So with that in mind, if you do need to get in touch with us, our contact details are on the screen. Please just ping an email through to solutions@A2K. Ask any questions that you need. Yes, and yes, it has been recorded and will be uploaded, I believe, to our YouTube site, or you will be sent a link. I'll just double check that with our marketing team. Okay, if that is everything, again, thank you everybody for coming along. Enjoy your Christmas, stay safe, and I wish you all the best through the new year. Thank you very much.